But how
Uh-huh.
many of us have stayed in relationships? Sean, you and I both have stayed in relationships like that.
Yes. God,
They
yes.
they they've been through shit with me, or
Mhm.
they like, and this is like, like they understand, or whatever, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we should be together.
Yeah.
Like,
Or that this friendship needs to continue. Um, as you realize, as you grow and you're in therapy, or you just doing the work and you're growing and trying to become healthier mentally, if that other person is trying to hold on, and you realize that the relationship is unhealthy, and that person tries to hold on, what they're doing is they're holding on to who you were and not who you are. And
mhm,
so it's even harder for you to grow when someone else is holding on to this idea of who you were. The same thing applies if you have someone who was not in your life for a long period of time, maybe a friend from high school or a friend from college, and all of a sudden they come back. Yes, hi, hi. I'm sorry, ma'am down front. Did
no, no,
you?
no, no, go ahead.
No.
You
Okay.
said
Okay.
it.
Yeah. Are you calling me out? I feel like you're calling me out. Yeah, and I mean,
Okay.
and rightfully so. No, absolutely. No, you're correct. You have a friend that comes back from your past. And it's sometimes those people can come back from your past, and the person that they are trying to become friends with again is the person from the past who they remember. Instead of y'all starting over and meeting each other where you are now, they're trying to meet you where you were,
Mhm,
and that's not okay. Not
mhm.
saying that it can't happen. I'm not saying that you can't become friends with someone from your past. I think Arugs and I are proof of that. We spent 20 years apart. Um,
Was it 20?
and
No, it was less than
15.
that.
No, it's 15. It's 15.
15.
It was
15.
15. Yeah, it was 15.
Yeah.
So yeah, but the reason we were able to do it is because we realized that both of us did some really stupid stuff. We had some very terrible behavior.
I love how you called it stupid. We were fucking terrible to each other.
We
We
were.
were
we
fucking
were.
awful to
We
each
were
other.
awful. Yeah.
Fucking
Um,
awful.
but instead of trying to relive, we acknowledged that what we did, um, and we talked it through, and then we said, okay, that's what we did, but that's not who we are. This is who we are right now, and then let's
Mhm.
go forward. That's hard to do. That took a lot. That took a lot of work for us to do that and move forward,
And
but we
it
did.
took a lot of work for us to do and get to this point where we're on a podcast
Yeah.
and we're best friends, and but
Hmm.
it took a lot of work, but it only, and I'm going to tell you this, it only worked because we did our own work.
Yes. Yes. Hmm.
We were doing our own work on ourselves first.
Yes.
Then we were able to work on our friendship and our
Hmm.
relationship. And we were able to work on that and be able to, with our therapist and with our work and our healing, we worked on ourselves first because we
Hmm.
realized, and he was going through some shit, I was going through some shit. We're constantly going through shit. It's just, that's
Yeah.
life. That's life.
Yeah.
But we realized that we are not going to move forward in our lives and be better
Hmm.
people and have better relationships with people if we weren't taking an inward look and working on that first,
Yes.
and taking
Hmm.
accountability for our actions, what we did to
Hmm.
each other, and then going, okay, where am I? What areas do I need to work on? And he
Hmm.
and he was like, okay, well, this is what you did. And I'm like, well, I've worked on this, and this is,
Hmm.
I don't, whatever. But you have to work on yourself first. And the other
Hmm.
person also needs to be working on themselves.
Yep.
It cannot, like I said before, it can't be that sacrificial. I'm working on myself, I'm getting better, but they don't. And if you're
Hmm.
constantly, and you get to that point to where you can constantly be telling them, you need to do this, you need to go to therapy, you need
Hmm.
to go get help, you need to do this,
Hmm.
you need to do this, you need to do that. You can, hey, here are some resources, and you can help and lay all of this information and all of these
Yeah,
things at
and
their
support
feet
them.
and
Mhm.
support them, which is
Mhm.
absolutely wonderful. And we're not saying that
Yeah.
that's a bad thing. That's not codependency. What codependency is when they are consistently saying, yeah, I know, I know, I know. And when you know that they know and they're
Mhm.
still not doing it, that's when
Mhm.
the red flag should go up. That should when a warning sign should go up. When you go,
Yes.
they're like, I know I need help. I will.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
will. And they feed
Mhm.
you the lip service because I don't know how many people in my life have done that. They're like,
Mhm.
fed me the lip service of I I will, I know, and even when they afterwards, you love them, so you don't want to give up on
Mhm.
them. So you're like, okay, well, here. And again, this goes for all types of relationships. It's like
Yep.
I researched this. I know that you're struggling with this. I know you're doing this. I know
Mhm.
you need this. Here, let me give you this. Here, and it's this constant here. I'm giving you everything. It's like giving them everything in your toolkit to help them, but you
Mhm.
can't build. They can't. You can't fix them.
Yep.
You can't fix them. You can help them. You can give them the tools that they need to
Mhm.
fix themselves. You can provide all of that support and that help and that encouragement and all of the information that you're getting, and you can grow together, but you can't fix them. But the church taught us that we can. Now, all
It
we
did.
have to do,
We are responsible for them. The church taught us that
yes.
we are responsible for them, and that's where the codependency comes into play. Is if you start to think, if only I did more, if only I did this, they would be better if I did this. You are taking responsibility for their actions and for their mental health, and that's the codependency. That's unhealthy. That's where you got to take a step back and go, this is I can love you and care about you without and support you without being codependent.
And that's hard.
They have to choose to do the work, and sometimes they don't.
And it's hard.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's so hard. It's hard to love somebody and to know that you would give anything for them. And you have. And you tell yourself, you gaslight yourself and go, they're the victim and they just need me. They need me. And I love them and they need me. But they're not doing anything. And they play the victim and they're okay with letting you do all the work, and they're okay because they know that you're just going to always be there,
Yep.
and you don't want to let that go, and you don't want to. You don't. But there comes a point where love isn't enough and the sacrifice will kill you. The
Mhm.
sacrifice has you laying in bed at night, questioning everything about yourself and who you are and why. And is this really what love is? Is this really how I want to be and feel the rest of my life? And you can love them with everything you have and still know that I can't. And that is the worst feeling. Because when you were raised the way we were raised, when you were raised with being told to be a good daughter and a good wife, a good spouse, a good church member, a good Christian means literally giving everything of yourself and sacrificing everything and wanting nothing and being told that needing things is selfish and setting boundaries is bad and being making other people accountable for their actions and telling them that you can't do for them, that they have to do some of the work and being met and being told that it's selfish, it is so awful. And that's what the church taught me about love. The church taught me that love was sacrifice and asking for nothing and being content with nothing, being content with the fact that I should just feel happy in giving and happy, and that's how I show love, and never expecting anything in return. Never expecting somebody to say, "I'm grateful for you," and, "Hey, thank you for supporting me," and, "Hey, you know, doing the work on themselves and knowing that there's a difference between I'm not going to do for you, I'm going to help you. And again, just like they equate privacy and secrecy, they equate help with sacrifice and service. And that's not love. That's servitude. That's not love. And having faith that things are going to get better, having faith that this toxic thing, because you love somebody, that's codependency and that's trauma bonding.
Absolutely.
And nothing is worse than that feeling of knowing that you love somebody and you have to just set that boundary and go, "No." And knowing that if by setting that boundary, you might lose them. And then here's the fucked up part is you don't know when you start healing, you don't know how to love and you don't know how to receive love. What happens is that when you start healing, you shut yourself off and you go, "Okay, well if no one's going to love me or if this is what love is, then I don't want it." And you always second guess, and when somebody gives you space and privacy and health and understanding and doesn't, you don't know what to do with that. So you convince yourself that
It's not right. It's not real.
it's not right.
Yeah. It's
When
not
somebody sets a
comfortable.
boundary with you, when somebody says no
Mhm.
with you, or somebody says, "Here, what do you need?" You don't know what you need. When somebody asks you, "What do you need?" Well, no, no, no. I just want what you want. What do you need? I don't know what I need because I was the I'm not t- I'm t- I was literally trained to not speak what I needed. I was trained to shut off myself and shut off everything and to not ask for help or not ask for affection or not ask for boundaries or space or just not even when I am given the space to say no. I don't know what to do with that. And that's in friendships and family and romantic. I don't know what healthy love is. And I am having to navigate those waters, and it's fucked up.
It feels uncomfortable. It feels you're constantly waiting for the shoe to drop. You're constantly waiting for for reality to set in. You're waiting for what seems to be a good thing to eventually come crashing down around you. You have a hard time accepting that this is possible, that it is possible to have a healthy relationship. That it just seems like a healthy relationship, but it's going to end up being just as bad. And if you're not careful, you it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Because if you're constantly looking for the bad thing and waiting for the bad thing, you will then treat the other person that way. You're going to be constantly suspicious and constantly on edge and on guard. And because you're waiting for the bad thing, that will affect the relationship, and eventually it will end because they'll be like, okay, this isn't working, and that can reinforce your belief. That can reinforce your whole relation. All relationships are bad, and so it just begins cycling. it's really hard to accept healthy relationships after you've been in an unhealthy one for so long.
And that goes for family and
Hmm.
friends. And we're not
Friends,
just
yes.
talking romantic, but I mean,
Mhm.
romantic is all relationships. It's hard to have a healthy, any type of relationship. And when you were trained, when you were trained that you just have to have faith in that other person.
Mhm.
You have to have faith in that other person, that the other person is going to get better as long as you give enough. If you give
There's
more,
Yep.
if you give enough, like they train you that just, and it's all through your faith and it's all through all the relationships you have in the church. And they train you as long as you have faith in that other person, no matter how bad
Mhm.
they are treating you, they can be saved. And that's the thing. And
Yes.
that's where your mom is, that whole, I know that you're setting
Mhm.
this boundary, but I can save you.
I can
I
save
can
you.
save
Yes.
you. And you
Mhm.
are in the attempts, in the futile attempts of
Mhm.
saving them, you are sacrificing yourself and you're putting yourself up on that altar of sacrificial love, which is so unhealthy
Mhm.
because there are compromises in
Mhm.
relationships. There are meeting halfway, there's agreeing to not disagree. But sacrifice, you should never sacrifice anything. You should never give up everything of yourself to make somebody else happy and their life better.
Mhm. And they shouldn't expect it.
And if they expect that, if that is
Mhm.
an expectation, you really have to think, like, is this healthy for me?
Mhm.
And that's hard. And I am
Yeah.
not saying what we come up here and, oh, hey, it's easy.
Mm.
It's not.
Mm-mm. And the first person you have to admit it to is yourself, and I think that's the hardest part.
Yeah,
Admitting to yourself that what you're doing
it's
isn't
unhealthy.
healthy, and that you are not blameless. You are creating. You are contributing to this issue. Like me and my ex, I was enabling the behavior. I was letting it happen. I was accepting that behavior, and I was very, very much codependent,
Yeah.
and that is really hard to deal with. That's really hard to do.
So the church fucked us up. I don't care what fucking denomination you're part of. Like there's like
Mhm.
this is the Christian faith. And while we have one of them is hard to think. Yes,
Mhm.
self accountability for where you put yourself, and you can say, I'm not saying that this person that you're sacrificing to will always respond that way. I am not, but I'm
Mhm.
saying you have to go. Okay, enough is enough. And I did
Yeah.
that with my mom. I didn't say I'm going no contact because, whatever. It took weeks. It took weeks of me going, no, this is my boundary. No, this is not okay. It took
Mhm.
weeks of giving her the opportunity to come to, and months, because I didn't necessarily close off that door completely for months. I
Yeah.
didn't. I didn't say, I didn't go complete no contact for months. I did try,
Yeah.
but I had to set the boundary. And if you set the boundary and they meet that boundary and they go, "Oh, okay, let's talk about this. Oh, okay, you're right, something does have to change. Oh, okay, let's grow through this. Oh, okay." Then that is possible. Okay, well, you need me to do this? Okay. All right. So you're right. It'll be hard. It'll be difficult to try, and changing a dynamic of a relationship is hard. Sean and I are
Mhm.
absolute proof of that.
Whew.
Because
Yeah.
the first couple of years that we were back in contact with each other, it was so much,
Oh.
I am not that person. You need to knock that shit off. I don't know who
Mhm.
you're talking to, but you're not talking to that
Yeah.
person.
Mhm.
Um, and so it is hard. but you both come together and you work together.
Mhm.
Changing a dynamic of a relationship is difficult and it takes time. And that is absolutely 100%. You can't pray it away. You can't hope it
Mm-mm.
away. You can't have faith in that other person away. You can't just hope that they're going to do the work. You can hope you can do the work and not and just sit there and go, "Oh, well, if I'm doing the work, let's hope that they're doing the work." No, they have to be actively doing the work and you have to be in constant communication. You have to actively
Yeah.
and they will do it. But it's a very telltale sign when you are sitting there and you meet them with, "You need to I'm not gonna do for you anymore. You need to do for yourself. I will support you and I will love you and I will help you,
Mhm.
but you need to do the work."
Yes.
And sometimes they'll do just enough to say, "Well, I'm doing the work." But the work don't like
It's a
you know the
journey.
difference. You know
Yeah,
the
well, it's a
difference.
journey. We're always working on ourselves. We're always trying to become better. There's always something that we can improve upon.
Right.
And sometimes that changes as you go. You get better, you improve this one area and then that reveals another area. And you're like, "Oh, okay, that's what I'm working on now." It's very much a journey and it will go on for a very long time, if not the rest of our lives.
Right.
It's not a oh, it's all it can be there's certain things that can be addressed like in a short period of time or one and done kind of, but your friendships, just look at the evidence of your friendships. Look at the dynamic of it and look at them and whether the work is actually getting done or not, or whether they're just giving you lip service.
Mhm. And it does take time. Like some people, I
Mhm.
know that some people have done, enough to just try to get me hooked. Like, oh, see, they're getting better. They're doing the work. They're getting
Mhm.
better, but they're not. They're just going to therapy. Like my mom goes to therapy. I
Mhm.
even got a call from my mom's therapist, and my mom completely lied to her. Like
Mhm.
completely lied to her. I was like, and the therapist called my mom's best friend too, and we were on the phone, like we were separately, but like both on the phone, going, "What?" N- wha- So, I mean, my mom could say, "I was going to therapy. I'm getting help," but
Mhm.
she's not doing the work.
Yeah.
Like you have to show progress and growth, and that other person has to show progress and growth. And it's a two-way
Yeah.
street. It is
Mhm.
absolutely a two-way street. Um, you have to take accountability for what you've done, and your part in this
Role in
relationship,
it. Yeah.
your role in it. But you can't just sit here and go, "Okay, well, I can only hope. I have faith that they're meeting." No. Real love is showing up, taking the
Mhm.
beatings. It's taking the lumps together. It is fighting together. It is
Mhm.
knowing and no, one person shouldn't benefit more than the other. It should be an equal. And sometimes it's going to be more, and sometimes you're going to give more than that person that is
Mhm.
capable of at the time. But then it will always eventually balance itself out.
Yeah.
Sometimes you'll need more, and they're able to give more. It's a
Mhm.
balance.
Yeah. It's when it
But
becomes very unbalanced.
yes.
Yeah.
So
So, regardless of the
last
relationship.
last
Mhm.
thing, let's talk about love is love and the sin that is homosexual love.
Oh, yes. Mhm. So, that's mm, that's the one that was a big deal in church, when I was growing up. Feigned progress and we'll get you back in the life to it. Yeah, yeah, exactly. So that's where it's not like I did the work and it's done. It is, are you continuing to do the work? And evidence, you will see the evidence. If they are doing work, you will see the evidence of it in the relationship.
Absolutely.
So, um, yeah. So even though God is love, as Christians like to say, God is love. He's sort of, because apparently he doesn't like homosexuality because it's not natural. I think is That's a very common. Oh, it's not natural. It's
It's a
not
sin.
natural.
It's a
Yeah,
sin.
it's a sin. It's a choice. There's a lot of adjusting that had to make in how you perceive homosexuality and homosexuals. The perception is that, oh, it's a choice, because if it's a choice, you can then hate the sin and love the sinner, as they like to say. Yeah, and if it's a choice, then you can do all these things to them because they're choosing to be that way. You can prevent them from having certain rights and whatever. It's all about them propping up people. They're propping up their own.
Oh, yes, Tech Nizzle, absolutely. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. It was a
Hmm.
the in half the Bible half the Bible is mistranslated. Half the Bible is mistranslated.
Yes, technical, absolutely. Yeah. Oh yeah. And so they're yeah. So they're picking out specific words, and those are mistranslations. And they're using those to prop up this idea,
Mhm.
that it's wrong.
Like, love is love, regardless of what your gender or your gender identity is. What, like Lin
Hmm.
Manuel said, love is love is love is love. And that is so true. Like, in its
Hmm.
basis core, love is not a bad thing. And like Flavored Mayhem said earlier, yeah, love hurts. Love is
Hmm.
supposed to fucking hurt. Love is supposed to be hard. Love is,
Hmm.
yes, love is great. Love is the sunshine and roses and the serotonin and the dopamine. It is all those things. Love is that.
Hmm.
And love is fighting. Love is being vulnerable. Love and being vulnerable is scary. Being vulnerable, love is.
Hmm.
Wait, huh? Oh, what did I say?
Oh,
What was that? What was
I
that?
thought I
Huh?
thought we weren't
What?
calling
No,
each other out here.
no. What
Wait,
was?
wait.
No, 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 no. You called your own motherfucking self out. What was that? What was
Oh
that?
God,
What? No, no, no. Go ahead. Go ahead.
vulnerability. Oh my God, that has been a journey for me. That whole idea of vulnerability. Oh my God, I am all about talking to, or letting people talk and understanding who they are and where they're vulnerable, and not to use it against them, but just they. But when it comes to the reverse, when it comes to me being vulnerable, oh Lord, you might as well ask me to cut off my hand. Mm-mm. Peppa, this is a safe place. You can let defenses down. Oh, thanks, Technical. I appreciate it. That has been a real hard process for me to let defenses down, to allow people to see me and not this idea of me. Because it's easy for me to get behind an idea. I've lived behind an idea of me. I lived behind the good Christian boy idea for so many 40 years of my life. Um, so I don't. The thought is, I'm not worthy of love. I'm not worthy. I'm not worth it. I'm not valuable. You want to know where that comes from? Christianity. You're not worthy.
Imagine that.
There, right? Exactly. So this belief that I'm not worthy unless I act a certain way, I'm not worthy. Unless I project a certain idea, I'm not worthy of love. That's absolutely from the what we were taught from the Bible. So
Go ahead.
so the idea for me being vulnerable, if I'm vulnerable and I show you who I really am, and my flaws and my thoughts and the all the things that happen in my head, there is no way anyone could possibly like me, love me, if you really knew who I was. That's where it comes from. And I still fight with that every single day.
Oh, me too. Absolutely. And on top of that, I get the lovely I know that you have too, when you are
Hmm.
vulnerable and you share your feelings and your how you feel and what you think, and you share what Sean and I lovely call it the glitter, the
The
snow globe,
glitter,
like you've
yes.
shaken the snow globe
Oh,
and your thoughts are like doing this. Like
yes, they're
we call it the
everywhere.
glitter. Um and well, when you're sharing these things with these people that you care
Mhm.
about and you love, it comes with this fear of having your thoughts and your feelings and that vulnerability weaponized against you. And so, what
Mhm.
I have been raised by both romantic partners and my family and my friends, and in having to deal with multiple narcissists in my life and all of this stuff, is what they do is they take that vulnerability, they take that, and
Mhm.
they weaponize it. They use it as ammunition against you, and they twist it, and they gaslight you, and they twist your words, and they twist how you feel, and they use it as a manipulation tactic.
Yes.
They use it to gaslight you,
Yeah.
and they use all of these things to make
Yes.
you question. And so
Yes.
then that vulnerability is you shut down.
Mhm.
You don't. And again, when you're met with a healthy friendship or a healthy relationship, and
Mhm.
that person is going, "You're safe. You're safe.
Mhm.
It's okay." You don't
Mm-mm.
believe them.
Mm-mm.
And then when you
Nope.
start, and that's the other thing. I know Sean and I both have done this, is like we
Mhm.
start sharing little tidbits.
Oh.
We start sharing little tidbits, and then we share the tidbit, and then shake the snow globe, and we share the
Yeah. Oh my
tidbit and shake the snow globe, and you're like terrified, and you've got all of these things and this fear and this. Sean said, I'm gonna get him a backup one. I feel
Oh,
that people
I
see
got
this
through almost the
often.
entire episode without that happening.
Nope, stairs and
Um,
black Jesus.
yeah.
um, but being vulnerable. And yes, it's okay for you to be cautious, but loving
Mhm.
somebody means you need to be vulnerable with them, and you need to
Yeah.
open up with them, and being
Yep.
strong and shutting them out and saying, "No, I can take care of it myself. It's fine. I don't need to burden them, or I don't need to whatever cuz they can't handle it,
Mhm.
or I don't want them to think I'm crazy, or I don't want them to not love me, or I don't want."
Mhm.
If you have a
All the thoughts.
fear, all of the thoughts,
Mhm.
you have to push through that.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that you're going to be met every time with you might share something, and they might weaponize it against you. You don't know. I mean, you don't know, but that is the thing. That's where you have to have the faith. You have to have the faith in yourself that you are
Mhm.
allowing yourself to have a safe space,
Mhm.
because you're not providing a safe space for your partner, and you're not providing, and you have to have faith in yourself, and you have to have faith in that. I love myself, and this is what I want for myself. I want to have that healthy relationship, but that
Mhm.
healthy relationship means that I'm going to have to open up to that other person, and that fucking sucks when you're an ex-Christian. I'm gonna tell you that right now. It fucking motherfucking sucks. It motherfucking sucks, because you're like,
Does.
okay,
Oh
I want to
god.
have this
Mm.
healthy friendship. I want to have this healthy relationship. I want to have this healthy
Mhm.
whatever between what me and this other person. But that requires me to be real. And I don't,
Yes.
I, mm,
Mhm. That's very uncomfortable. Very
mm-mm,
uncomfortable.
mm-mm.
Yeah.
Here's my shit. I hope you don't hate me. Like
Please don't,
that's
yeah, please don't run. And you inadvertently end up putting a ton of pressure on the other person. Especially if the other
absolutely
person,
yes.
if we're assuming that it is a health, that this new relationship or new friendship is healthy, and that they truly do want to see that side of you, and they're not
Right,
going to weaponize it.
right.
You're putting by tearing them off a little piece of your vulnerability, giving in vulnerability. You are you are playing Sherlock Holmes detective with every e- every micro expression, everything they do. Once you put that out there, you are analyzing it and overthinking. At least I am. I'm overthinking it, looking for the rejection. I am
Mhm.
waiting for. I've given you this piece of me now. Now go ahead, reject me. I know it's coming. I'm waiting
And
for it. And
you
you,
have the
and
scenario, the rejection
you're ready.
scenario in your
You're ready.
head. You have the
Hmm.
reject. I
Well,
don't know.
it's been
Okay.
nice.
It's yeah,
It's.
it's you have that in your head. Like
Mhm.
I don't know. I know you do, because you're that person. And that's what makes us best friends. Is that
Overthinker? What?
right? Like you give that you're vulnerable with yourself, and you give of yourself, and then
Yeah.
you literally create their rejecting you
Yeah.
scenario in your head, like the
Yes.
whole scenario, to what they're
You've already planned
wearing,
rejection.
yeah,
Yeah.
what they say, why
Yeah.
they say it, how you're
Yeah.
gonna react. Like
Oh,
you have
yeah.
the entire thing planned out
In
in
your
your
head
head that they're gonna
already.
reject you. Here's
Yeah.
why they're gonna reject you, because of
Yeah.
this, and you're ready. You're ready.
You're ready. You're prepared. You're prepared.
You're ready for the
Tell me you
rejection.
have tell me you have rejection sensitive dysphoria without telling me you have rejection sensitive dysphoria. That's both of us right there.
That is so much. But
Yeah.
you know
There's
what
no
real
think,
love
there's only
is?
overthink. You're right. What?
Real love is taking that
Mhm.
vulnerability and understanding and knowing, okay, they are vulnerable with me in that moment, and that was hard for them.
Yes.
And I know that the snow globe went like this, and I know
Mhm.
that it's going to be weird for the next couple of days. And you
Mhm.
sit down and you go, thanks. Thank you for being vulnerable. I know that
Yes.
wasn't easy. Real love is
Yes.
saying, I see your shit. I know your shit. I see your
Mhm.
flaws and I see your mistakes and I see all of the bad shit, all of the bad shit. And I see your imperfections. I see them. I've already seen them. I know them. You may think you're hiding them from me, but I know them. I see them.
Sorry, I yeah. Mhm.
I see your shit. I see your imperfection. I see your scars. I see your trauma. I see all of those bad things about you. With the stuff that you think that you're hiding from me.
We're assuming we're really good at hiding these things. We're not.
We're not.
We're terrible at it, but we
And
think we're good.
I still love
Mhm.
you. I know you're quirky. I know you're weird. I know you like things. I know you like things that I don't like. I know you do things that I don't understand. Okay. I'm not going to try and change you.
Uh-huh.
Lily, don't look at me.
I think all of us right now are going, "Oh god, oh god, oh god."
I see your
Mhm.
shit. And this is friendships, this is lovers, this is spouses, this is family members, this is your
Mhm.
children. This is, I see you and I see your imperfections and I see your trauma and I see all these things and I still love you. That's love. And when you're going through a trauma response or you're going through a hard time and you fight, because when boundaries are set between two healthy people, you're going to fight and you're going to have to, come to a compromise and you're going to have to come to an understanding and you're going to have to come to those things. An absence an absence of conflict doesn't mean that everything's okay, and you're gonna
Mhm.
fight. And especially if you're in have been in unhealthy relationships and then you're finally in a healthy one, again, friendship, family, whatever. When I say relationships, I'm not just meaning romantic.
Yeah.
But when you fight with somebody or disagree with somebody, your automatic fear is that you've lost that person forever.
Yes. Yep. Mhm.
Your automatic fear is that
Oh, this is it.
this is it. They don't want anything to do with me anymore. This is it. I
Mhm.
didn't give them what they wanted.
Mhm.
Then you start trying to apologize for things that you shouldn't apologize for, just because that's all you know, is that you were always wrong and you were always at fault, so
Yes.
that you have to apologize for it so that you don't lose this person that you love very dearly. And that person goes, "Why are you apologizing? That's not something you should apologize for." And you're met with,
What? No,
"Pardon?"
no, no, no. Nah.
They're like, "Yeah, we fought. Okay, let's work through
Mhm.
this. I know I'm mad at you, you're mad at me. Let's talk this out."
Yeah.
That's love. Love is not easy. Love is not having faith. Love is not hopes and dreams. And love is not flowers and kisses. And love is not the big romance shit on they see on the screen. And love is not any of those things. Love is fucking hard.
Love is not accepting every behavior.
And love is not sacrifice. Love is communication. Love is being vulnerable.
Mhm.
Love is being flawed and still staying, you know?
Mhm.
And knowing when to get out. Knowing that this is not working. Loving somebody and letting them go.
Yeah.
And that's okay too.
Yeah. Doesn't mean you're a bad person, they're a bad person, or you love each other any less as friends, romantic, whatever. Sometimes it is just not the best thing for one of you or
Yeah.
both of you.
And that's love.